If you're an old and withered husk of a human being like me, then you may have some deep nostalgic ties to a little multimedia franchise known as Harry Potter, the corpse of which is paraded around by millennials blinded by the fear that one day they may have to have an original thought and stop buying Marauders map blankets as their entrance ticket to the copium mines. As a millennial and internet boomer myself, I have some personal ties to Harry Potter because growing up in the 2000s, if you like to eat books as much as I did, you literally couldn't escape its pop culture girth. Child me loved these silly wizarding books and movies, never realizing that J.K. Rowling was roaming the halls of her 1980s horror movie castle, physically attached to Twitter in such a way that not even doctors can tell you where the human begins and the cell phone ends. Imagine spending your whole life writing a book series about magic and then having takes so bad that I would rather believe that eating those little dinosaur pills would get you pregnant with a Triceratops baby than try to understand what's going on inside her head. I've got some questions, queries, quandaries about Harry Potter, having rewatched the movies recently, and once again thinking about how the release of The Cursed Child made me almost disavow reading for an entire year because I had underestimated the lightning bolt-shaped scar that this series had left on my psyche. And sitting in the shower crying for the 20th time today made me realize that I should ask the wider, worlder, Weber these questions. And maybe I'll save at least one person from using Harry Potter as a personality trait, so that if they ever did have a child or children, they wouldn't name their child Cedric Diggory. Why was the Time Turner given to a child so that she could take more classes? You have to imagine that a school like Hogwarts would benefit from extra class time for the more brainy wizards, offering more after-school activities than just grab this little golden ball, the game. So why then does the solution to the puzzle of I should do more schoolwork become literally time travel, and that it's never brought up again as something that could be used by any wizard to solve any other problem throughout the entire book series, except for The Cursed Child, which is less of a book and more of a torture experience? Maybe it's a magical artifact that only Dumbledore has access to, but that still doesn't explain how or why everyone, including Dumbledore himself, completely forgets that something so powerful, an object that can alter the fabric of reality and bend time to its whim, is just within his reach, and nobody really ever bats an eye at its existence. If a wizard shit himself and went back in time to leave a note to tell himself not to shit his pants, would the note actually have worked? Then would he even have needed to go back in time to tell himself not to shit himself? Or would he have just shit himself in the first place and never seen the note, no matter how many notes he has it? Is shitting yourself inevitable? Time travel sucks. Sorry, Doctor Who fans. It is called the TARDIS. Does the Ministry of Magic have sister governments, or does the Ministry control without borders? And if so, why does Harry Potter Snake Hitler have so much support that he can bend the world government to his whim with a couple hundred wizards? Maybe 90% of the wizards rolled Hufflepuff on their Pottermore quiz, but the fact that somebody could just become the Minister of Magic because you-know-who can do you-know-what with his you-know-huh without the bickering and dickering of politics might have been one of my biggest personal pet peeves as a child. I watched 5 minutes of C-SPAN as a child, and even I knew that politics wasn't as simple as, this guy should be the wizard president. And I know that as an American, this is almost hypocritical, considering that there is genuine thought in this country that gravity puts us first. And believe me, with obesity skyrocketing, we might just end up with our own gravity field in due time. But Britain hasn't been the capital of the world since my country dumped some tea in the ocean. And you'd think wizards would make some social progress in that time that would stop this from happening. Especially since everyone from Children of Goblins is just walking around with like a loaded pistol all day, every day. But maybe asking for a more serious amount of social progress from the J.K. Rowling wizard books is asking just a bit much. Why does Harry grow up to be a wizard cop? That sucks. That's dumb. That's just a personal thing. I just think that's stupid. Why are the goblins with big noses and sharp teeth in charge of the wizarding world's economy? Why does the bank that they're in charge of have several pointed stars on the floor? Some things in Harry Potter make me go a little and this is definitely one of them. I mean, I didn't want to have to be the one to point this out to you, and you probably already saw this yourself, but Doesn't that make you just a little just a little out loud? Snape shouldn't be defended, right? Because while Alan Rickman was a fabulous actor, Snape the character wasn't a tortured soul who secretly cared about Harry. He was an incel that was more concerned about keeping the remnant of his obsessive crush alive than the welfare of his students. And as much as I like that there's one character in Harry Potter that has more depth than a shallow puddle, he's still a pretty shitty person who tortures his students. What I'm saying is that if you idolize or love this character beyond just kind of appreciating that they are a character, you might be a little bit quirky. Or you might be the type of person to smash hamsters with hammers to teach somebody a lesson. I'm not gonna judge you though. I don't know you. How did nobody see what was going on in the maze and Goblet of Fire? For a tournament that's all about spectating bravery and heroism, it really is an absolutely empty skull move for Fogg to be able to stop wizards, literally wizards, from observing what was going on. On that note, which one of Voldemort's 3D 4D chess player minions thought that using a 3-stage tournament would be a good way to get that kid that sucked up his snake power right where he would need him to be? Also, Force Ghost saved the day. Remember when Force Ghost saved the day? I do. Why did none of the Weasleys who had the Marauders map also not see that their rat was named Peter Pettigrew on said map? Did they just not see it because they were too busy playing with tech decks and pulling sick pranks? Or is there some security on the map that prevents certain people from seeing specific information on that map? Or is Harry Potter just a poorly written children's fantasy series? We'll never know. Why don't adults in Harry Potter show any basic competency? It's hard to believe that someone would lock something up for safekeeping behind a series of puzzles that can be solved by children, especially when Gringotts exists and has all these safeguards in place to stop thieves that don't have the power of plot convenience at their fingertips. Also, the fact that they leave these children unsupervised day in, day out, and the groundskeeper can talk to the paintings to figure out information. Not only that, but adults can talk to the paintings to figure out information since the paintings are alive, but the paintings aren't snitches and they never give the kids up when they decide to take matters into their own hands because adults are dumb and stupid and stinky and smelly and gross. Do the wizards and witches that can turn into animals and back into people take human-sized shits when they're in animal form, or animal-sized shits? This is just another personal one. Is it normal-sized dumps or animal-sized dumps? Do they take animal-sized dumps in human form? Is there some kind of pushback on this spell? Rowling, I gotta know. Why are there only 3 spells that are absolutely unforgivable when there are potions that could be made by children that would aid and abet so many wizard criminals in committing identity fraud? I mean, being a wizard cop would be exhausting. And I can't believe that Voldemort was the first guy who thought, dude, it's so easy to be evil online, the worldwide wizarding web. How long do you think it took J.K. Rowling to come up with all her wizard slurs? I'm just throwing that one out there too. I'm just wondering if she had them ready to go or if it took her a while to cook them up. Why Fabulous Beast movie series? I mean, I know the why is because money, but why Fabulous Beast movie series? Here's a fan favorite Harry Potter plot hole question. Why does Mad Eye Moody's Mad Eye that's moody see through Harry Potter's funny little invisibility cloak when it was a deathly hollow that was immune to magical detection? Is Harry Potter badly written? Is that it? Is that why Rowling thought that there needed to be an explanation for wizards pooping themselves before modern plumbing? Because it's a children's book series that's full of shit? You can spend all day online talking about the who, what, where, when, and why Harry Potter bad, but at least I still have good memories of reading a book series and watching movies with my grandma. So that's something. I think, as a society, we move past Harry Potter and stop thinking about it, and maybe never think about it ever again. I know that as I get closer and closer to 30, I'm more and more terrified of meeting someone whose parents named them after characters in this series. And I don't want to think about it, and I don't want to put it in my head, and I want it out of my head, and I never want it in my head ever again. Thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos. There are also things. And hey, are you going to write a comment talking about why Harry Potter is immune to criticism because reasons? Well, your reasons are stupid. Also, check me out on Twitch and Patreon and all that other stuff. I have more videos in the pipeline finally. December was really rough for me in the head, so I'm kind of trying to get this ball rolling all over again like some kind of shit content Katamari, and I appreciate you for watching, so I'm gonna go and kind of maybe host a personal book burning. Bye!